And the topic of today's demo is Google reCAPTCHA in Magento. And I would like to start with very brief and high-level couple of words about initial what is Google reCAPTCHA. And Google reCAPTCHA it's obviously Google product. At this moment, it has couple of reCAPTCHA types. I hope everyone know at least one seen this banner. And all this type of reCAPTCHA could have a little bit different visual representation on website and little bit different logic uh, inside of implementation. But the main goal is define based on user interaction on website. Is it real human or it's bot or spam robot or what else? So Google also provide ability to integrate such service, such product into probably any website. And initially it was done, integration and implementation into Magento. This work has been done by our community member Ricardo Tempesta. Tempesta, yes, I think it's correct pronunciation. And it was contributing in a part of Magento community engineering program. This product was initially released with Magento starting from 2.1 Magento version, and still it presents in 2.3x. And first of all, big thanks Ricardo for all this work, for all this effort during all Magento releases, supporting, fixing bugs, introducing new improvements, fix other issues that were reported during each release, and collaboration with community. Thank you, Ricardo. And now we are going to move this. We are going to release reCAPTCHA in Google reCAPTCHA in Magento as a part of security package. So initial code has been moved into new repository, security package, and it's still open source and open for any community contribution. So So as I mentioned, during this transition, we have introduced a couple of improvements, and the main goal of all these improvements is fix user experience and try to avoid possible misconfiguration issue. And let's review what we had in what we have right now in 2.3 release reCAPTCHA, and then compare with what we have right now. Previously, we had the screen. You can see we had one point in system configuration, Google reCAPTCHA, and it contains a couple of sections. General section where admin user is able to provide required Google keys to enable reCAPTCHA, and only one place to enable a type of reCAPTCHA for all websites. First of all, it looks like quite easy, trivial, but such approach was a result of reporting a lot of misconfiguration issue. Why? Because unfortunately, not all case work, let's say, as expected with each type of reCAPTCHA, and it possible situation like admin input one case and then just switch from top down another type of reCAPTCHA, and it could be like a result something goes wrong during login in admin panel or during checkout flow. So each type of reCAPTCHA required a specific case. Second part, it's related to backend. Previously, we had only one drop-down, like yes, no, enable, disable. And it was possible. No, it was not possibility to select type of reCAPTCHA for admin panel, and it depends on general configuration. So, and in the last section related to Storefront frontend, we had all we had all unique configuration per each reCAPTCHA type and a set of forms, list of forms, list of places in Magento where this type of reCAPTCHA should be applied. One type of reCAPTCHA for all possible places. Let's see what we change it and fill in. Yeah. First of all, we split configuration for admin panel and for storefront to provide ability configure it's not like in different ways. For admin panel, admin can set specific type of reCAPTCHA, specific settings, and for storefront, another. Such approach could help to avoid situation when some changes are aimed to admin login reCAPTCHA could affect all storefront. Okay, let's see what we have for storefront settings right now. We split each reCAPTCHA type for different section, and each the section has unique keys exactly for this type of reCAPTCHA and set of settings especially to configure this type of reCAPTCHA. Additionally, we have added possibility to admin to change possible errors during a reCAPTCHA validation. Previously, it was hard-coded in code. Now, if admin want, he or she can edit it, specify a unique message in any languages. So we did it for each type of reCAPTCHA. You can see each one has unique keys, unique settings, and messages or error. And what about settings on storefront? How can be enabled, disabled? We changed it. First of all, we little bit changed naming and label. For naming, we used the same name as on Google site to have to avoid possible miscommunications that previously was, and also update labels according to Magento naming standard. Okay, in drop-down, how we can enable a disable. Now we have a default the same. First of all, the same list of places where we can enable it in the storefront, and drop-down that by default has no value like disabled, and then admin can specify exactly what type of reCAPTCHA he or she want to use, and especially in which place.
What happens if I have not set the keys for reCAPTCHA to invisible and I choose that in one of these pages?
The general logic is if we don't have like this case here, this type of reCAPTCHA is disabled. It will not be displayed on storefront.
Okay, so from the options, I will not be able to choose that that particular reCAPTCHA type.
Right now you can choose, but it will not be enabled if you not configure the case not specified.
Okay, so basically on the storefront, it will not show reCAPTCHA, but over here it will not let the admin know that that has happened.
Yes, I think probably we should add message like here or under each field, like be sure that you have configured reCAPTCHA.
Yeah, it can happen as a mistake that although I've set keys for reCAPTCHA v3, but in one of the pages, while choosing it, I chose reCAPTCHA v2 invisible. They can come back and change it, but for a moment, I mean, for some time, they might not be sure what happened.
Makes sense, like add notification for admin about it. At least right now, it's not the possible situation like we said wrong reCAPTCHA type according to case, and we have blocked in worst scenarios some case on admin. Okay, I will put
May I ask you one question?
Yes, yes.
What is the typical scenario in which I can choose between, let's say, reCAPTCHA version 2 and version 3? I mean, why should I have two different reCAPTCHA on my website, on my storefront?
Uh, it depends on admin desire. In general, yes, the main probably flow, it's gonna to enable one type of reCAPTCHA for all website. And it's still possible, like select only one that you want. But
Okay, so
during
you
this
mean I
transition,
could
yep, please proceed, sorry.
I could have, for example, let's say reCAPTCHA version 3 for login, reCAPTCHA version 2 for forgot password, you mean?
Yes.
It is not clear to me why you would like to have this kind of configuration.
It was probably not the main goal, like to have ability to set different type of reCAPTCHA in scope of one website. It just was like additional probably benefits when we just split it.
I agree with Sergey. Main goal was splitting API public key, so website key and private key from different type of reCAPTCHA. For example, today I use one type and I would like to try another, or maybe I have problem with some another type, and I can put keys for each type of reCAPTCHA. I don't need, for example, I put keys for reCAPTCHA version 2. After that, I change some like reCAPTCHA invisible, but they still have old keys. And we know that each type of reCAPTCHA should have different keys. And it was one of requests from community for guys about misunderstanding, like I have filled keys, I choose another type of CAPTCHA, and I have some issue. So main goal, it was splitting configuration for different type of reCAPTCHA, and some like additional that possibility to choose different types from different functional area. And for example, for newsletter, it's the main benefit. What about different times? Maybe for newsletter.
But it makes sense. It makes sense now. I understand. I understand what you mean. It totally makes sense.
Because, for example, sorry, a couple of words. For example, for newsletter, I can use invisible. Maybe for review, I also think it will be enough for me to have invisible. But for login, I would like to have some more hard CAPTCHA, like you should choose some pictures. So it's like additional things. And of course, we don't want to.
Okay, thank you.
We don't want to hardcode invisible. For example, if it's newsletter, you should use invisible. In general, yes, it's convenient, but maybe some would like to choose something else. And finally, we introduced it. We split our model. Initial model by a couple of new modules, and each type of reCAPTCHA now are located in different models. And we consider some situation in future. For example, you introduce new type of reCAPTCHA, maybe you should pay money for this type of CAPTCHA, and you would like to have on login some enterprise type of CAPTCHA, but for newsletter, I would like to have free version. It's also possibility to for some future extensibility, like you introduce some new type of CAPTCHA, and you can choose this type only for some specific area.
Okay, thank you.
Also as like not benefit but additional plus on the backstage. I mean, in the Google account there are some analytics, and it gather all data related to login, failed login, and so on. And such split could provide the ability like see what possibly conversion is better, what is we need to switch to another type of reCAPTCHA. And the same benefit could be like for admin panel and storefronts. I mean, splitting. We can see what is happened, how many failed at attempt to login in admin, and how failed probably attempt to pass reCAPTCHA on Storefront. But it's not like P0 benefits. Okay, any other question related to backend? Because I'm going to go through Storefront and demonstrate how reCAPTCHA looks like and through a couple of scenarios. Okay, if no question, let's go to Storefront. In the couple of places, I have prepared little different configuration, different type of reCAPTCHA with different design for each places. Again, it's not probably the main business scenario, but it is possibility, and this possibility works. For example, for customer login page, I use this type of reCAPTCHA. It's V2 inlined. I use custom design for this page. Forgot your password. I enable invisible. Oops, reCAPTCHA. Just it's shown the left bottom part of my page. And also, it is possible to use both reCAPTCHA. I mean, native Magento reCAPTCHA, which is by default enabled for a couple of places in Magento, especially for forgot your password. And for example, for create a new customer, I use it classic, I would say, type of reCAPTCHA that requires from user click, do additional click, and then, if need, pass the challenge like selecting pictures and be verified. But now I'm going to go through the most probably important flow. It's checkout, and especially login during checkout when reCAPTCHA also applied. Add guest. Go to checkout flow. You can see we are on first checkout step. First of all, reCAPTCHA also applied here as previously for sign-in option by link, and additionally it could be shown if user enter email that related to currently a registered customer. So user put email and password fields appear, and reCAPTCHA is applicable here as well. Let me demo user password. Click login again. I receive a challenge. Let me and CAPTCHA successfully passed, and user logged in. It's preloaded, as you can see, his shipping address, billing, and all other stuff that happens during usual place order. Order successfully placed. Additional place where reCAPTCHA is applied as well, it's contact us form. You can see the page still to increase here, and it's applied if we just want to contact us to avoid spammers and so on. Yes, it is. Validation is not passed because of my configuration. reCAPTCHA detect me as a bot, and so that my reputation is too low. It's V3 type reCAPTCHA that based on a specific score that admin can specify. This type of reCAPTCHA. And additional place where reCAPTCHA also applied, it's a product review page. Let's Yes, reCAPTCHA is applicable for review functionality as well. So in general, that's all from my side. If you have any question, let's discuss it.
Do we have reCAPTCHA enabled for if you're checking out as guest?
Check out as guest? No, we don't have this functionality. It appears only when we do login action. So if customer try to log in during checkout, yes, it appears. But still, it is possible to place order like a guest without any login as customer and reCAPTCHA.
Actually, we discussed this functionality at the very beginning of the module, but the main concern in applying a reCAPTCHA in the checkout was stopping the customer in the checkout flow. That was considered to be quite dangerous. But now I don't know if it's worth to maybe think to something related to version 3 that has no interaction with the customer.
I think it's possible. Improvement.
Yeah, I think it would be a good improvement because I can see like, the problem that we are trying to solve with respect to spams can happen in that scenario because we don't support reCAPTCHA there.
I'm sorry, according to this question, Siri, can I share my screen on a couple of minutes? I will explain one thing.
Stop sharing, please.
So as I already mentioned, we splitted initial reCAPTCHA model on a few new in a few modules, and you see that right now we have for reCAPTCHA functionality by different models. For example, all of related to customer is related in customer model. All is related to review is related to review. And we introduce mechanism how to add additional functionality in more easy way. And we already have some additional pull requests with adding functionality to wish list, maybe to something else, I don't remember. But we need to clarify for next milestone of all of area when we would like to see reCAPTCHA, and it will be very easy to add new functionality via this new introduced mechanism. You see that we already merged reCAPTCHA PayPal, which cover working with PayPal, and so we can do the same if for checkout for another, and it should not be problem. That was main idea, to provide possibility how to in easy way to add new functionality in one pull request in a couple of files. Also, we do the same. We did the same for different type of CAPTCHA. You can see the different types is located in different models. So as I mentioned, if you would like to add new type of CAPTCHA, maybe enterprise or something else, it also could be done in very, very easy way with providing a couple of files. So yes, we can create, we covered any functionality in Magento with new approach, but we need to clarify backlog, might provide some priority, what is more important, and what we are going to see in next releases. Sorry for interruptions, that's all.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think one of the drivers for that would be, what kind of support related tickets we are getting from customers. So I can try to find that out. Like if we have had any reports on customer requesting for a particular page which we do not support currently. So yeah, that can help in prioritizing which page should be done first and which module should be covered first.
Also, I saw a ticket on which Alexander Horkin is working. For next milestone, our plan, in your plan, it was like adding some additional type reCAPTCHA for customer accounts, so on. And also we discovered that we need to introduce some, I think something like maybe REST API, maybe GraphQL entry point, because if you will work with PWA, for example, I built some front end, but I still need to have reCAPTCHA data. So I need to have some entry point in which I can call. It could be GraphQL, could be REST API, and get some data, how to integrate this data in my site, like public key, language, theme, and so on. It's needed for front-end visualization. So I need to have some web HTTP entry point for getting this information. I already see that we have something like that in the investigation ticket. I am not sure that it's about what I told, but anyway, please consider situation that we need to add one HTTP entry point for loading data for front-end visualization.
Yeah. Who is working on that investigation, you said?
Horkin, sorry, the pronunciation of surname, Alexander Horkin. Because he asked me about reCAPTCHA coverage.
Are you talking about Alexander Gorkun, who's from CIAD?
Yes, Gorkin. Yes.
Oh, okay.
As I saw that we already saw that there are some mention about API in tickets, but we need to make sure that we talk about one things, because I don't know what about some functionality different, like checking reCAPTCHA via API, but I mean that we need to have at least to have a point for loading configuration.
Yeah, I know about one investigation that he's doing, and that is basically to compare Google reCAPTCHA with the old reCAPTCHA that we had, because I remember that having a discussion with him where he said there's more third-party integration and coverage through that, and we have to find out like why that has been not covered with Google reCAPTCHA. So he was investigating that. Yeah, but I haven't had any chat with him after that. Yeah. So so that was where it started, because we had a customer complain about the fact that Google reCAPTCHA definitely is much more advanced. So we were looking at if we need to even support the old reCAPTCHA anymore. And then when we started looking deep into it, we figured out that there's some additional functionalities which we support in that. So that's why we were trying to figure out if that could be done in the Google reCAPTCHA as well.
Great. So very great, Alexander, for this work, and based on their document, we can sit down and make grooming and clarify backlog for next releases.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, guys, do you have any other topic to discuss? Because it's it from my side at least.
No, I don't have anything else.
Okay, so I think we can end this meeting. Thank you everyone for participation.
Thank you so much for thank you so much for
Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo, for your contribution.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you and bye.